2 rounds so far complete in RPL F1 Season 11. McLaren and Leo Lund are undefeated. Can anybody take the fight to them this time in Australia? The last time we were here, it was Cookie winning, and it was 3 in a row for him. Can Leo Lund do the same this time for him and McLaren? And also, the season prior in Australia, it was the season opener. It's almost been a year since that race that we had at the start of F1 23. This time it's the start of F1 24. We're 3 rounds in, and it is time for the Australian Grand Prix, round number 3 of the season. I'm your commentator, Ryan Searles, for tonight, and alongside me is a former driver in RPL Tier 1 who raced this race back in Season 1 and 2, RPL Titan Iron. Welcome along. Good to have you, and I know you missed the end of last week in Saudi Arabia, but if the first 2 races are anything to go off of, well, I mean, I don't really know what there is to say. There's so much unknown.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of unknown on this. Well, everyone that's here, welcome along. It's good to be here. Yeah, last week missed out because of the severe storms and the possible tornado warning that I had in my area. Thankfully, the storm was not too severe as initially thought. Just only had to, from my department, we only had to go to 2 trees and wire sound calls, while the other district of my town got hammered hard. But no tornado as well, so thank goodness for that. I did get caught back up on. I did get caught back up on that. I saw literally just a. It's literally almost a repeat of season 5. Jeddah with Minico going completely
Maybe it was a good thing you
airborne.
weren't there then.
Yeah, that was wild to see there. But yeah, Australia, this is going to be quite a unique track. There's 4 DRS zones, most of any track on the F1 calendar. As you mentioned, Leo Lund, 2 races in, 2 victories on his belt. But I would say, and so far, looking at the time so far, Leo, in a Q3 Grand Prix that he did earlier, he set a 14.6 after Q3. I'm wondering if anyone's going to come close to it. I mean, Cookie, you have Cookie who's really been showing a stride. Gecko, you can't discount him out either, and stuff like that.
Well, I also noticed as well, I don't remember if it was Equal Cars or in the Aston Martin, but Egg seemed to have the world record around the circuit for a little bit. As for the Xbox side of things, I don't remember if it was world record as a whole, but fair play to Egg, he's been quite quick. HSR Gecko, another one who's been quite quick as well, but interestingly enough, he's going to have to take the Carlos Sainz route for tonight's race. Why am I saying that? You might not be aware of it, Titan, but he shared an image in the Ferrari chat that to some we cannot share on stream, but either way, he is racing injured with a hole in his knee, and that's not going to stop him at all. He's in the Ferrari tonight, HSR Gecko, and looking for another podium, as he's had a podium so far in both races this season. Same with Egg, same with Leo Lund, the same podium. 3 races in. The only difference with those 3 guys on podium is the fact that Egg went from the Ferrari Academy, when he reserved in Ferrari in Bahrain, was full-time at Haas, to the Mercedes Academy in Aston Martin full-time now. And he'll have Mally 41, a former Tier 1 champion, as his teammate for tonight's race. Also a former Australian Grand Prix winner here in RPL. But for Egg's case, though, maybe looking for one spot better. He's had 4 different podiums at 4 different teams. It's also the most podiums of any driver currently without a win in RPL in F1. Do we see a 5th podium before win tonight? Is tonight the night? There's going to be a lot of questions asked. We also have a lot of guys who are getting their best opportunity yet as well. We'll talk about headlines in just a moment, but Gecko, racing injured. Egg, quite fast. I mean, what are you looking at, Titan?
I mean, Gecko being injured, that is going to be a bit unique, but I don't think it's going to hold him back as much. Another driver that was slated to participate in this event, Samuel Drake, he is not able to compete because of an injured hand that he has.
Everyone's getting injured.
Yeah. quite a bit of injuries here, but yeah, we have a very nice full lineup here, full grid here. This is going to be fun to say the least. But like I said, Leo Lund is going to be the one to watch out for. Cookie, I would not doubt.
Absolutely.
He's going to be the big challenge. He's going to be the big challenger. Gecko, I would definitely see him, despite being injured, he'll be up there to fight as well. Can't discount Egg in the Aston Martin. He's pretty quick. He's been really shining on so far. I mean, literally 2 races, 2 podiums. I think
Different
my memory's
teams.
right. Both of them are second place, right? Because he got second in Bahrain. He got second in Jeddah too, right?
All of his podiums he's ever had has been second place, even the ones he got at the end of season 5 as well in Portimao and Imola, which are both back to back, just like last week and the week before being back to back.
No
So
kidding.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, Egg is on quite a good streak, it must be said. So we're heading to qualifying, Titan. Full qualifying here, Q1 getting underway. I just want to mention some changes here for Tier 1. You mentioned Leo Lund being quick. Well, he's quick enough to get a contract, the earliest of anybody, for next season in Season 12 F1. A little early there, but McLaren have re-signed him for next season. Speed has transferred from Sauber to VCarb, so he's now part of the Red Bull Academy, got out of the Ferrari Academy. Same with Dom. He's gone from being a Haas full-time driver to a reserve at the Academy. Kieran went from a Red Bull reserve to a Mercedes reserve in the Academy. J&T, Tier 2 Ferrari driver, no longer the case. F1 Haas full-time. He's in the Ferrari tonight due to Skither missing, Minico missing, Hunted is in the McLaren. He was really good in the Alpine in this race last season, Titan, if you remember his start up to P4, battling Jack Miles, who's also not racing tonight as well, which is why Mally 41 is in. Hunted's never had a Tier 1 podium. He's one of those drivers with a 4th place finish. Could tonight also be the night for him as well?
It's possible. I mean, anything can possibly happen in regards to this type of track. I mean, literally, it also falls under the right pit strategy. Pit strategy is also a factor, but also don't discount out track limit warnings and penalties. Now, I
Yes.
am wondering, because I never looked myself, is that glitch in turn 4 at Australia, is that still active, or did they fix that?
I don't know, but we're going to find out. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Kieran, by the way, serving a qualifying ban, as you may have picked up on Titan. He's retired from the session. He still
Yep.
had one from the last time that he raced, which goes all the way back to the beginning of Season 9, the last time he raced in RPL. I believe he got a points finish in this race in that season, in Season 9. So, Kieran in the Alpine, Mally in the Aston. We already gone over that. Mally, his first race since the end of Season 9. Bobby got called up to reserve Haas. Andrea in the Alpine. We've got a lot of drivers missing tonight's event, to say the least. Lewis Piper reserving in Haas. He's full-time Tier 2 now. Alex Fox Johnson in the Sauber. Red Fire in the Williams. Yeah, we've got a lot of reserves in tonight's event and drivers on loan.
Oh yeah, there's quite a lot to say the least. And something that you mentioned earlier with Leo getting that contract extended for season 12. Just something to mention on that. That decision to have Leo get the extension, that was solely on my part. I thought after
Fair
going
play.
2 in a row and everything and how well he was, I'm like, this guy's really good. I need to snag him now before anyone else
Before someone
decides
else
to go
does.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I went
Smart.
asked Leo, I said, hey, you're doing so good. I want to make the move. Do the extension. What do you think? He said yes. The extension happened. We got our first, and we're not even round 3. We're in round 3 of this event, and we already have one driver confirmed for season 12 tier 1.
Just don't have what happened with TB last season, where he signed a contract for Mercedes for what was going to be this season and then decided to get out of it and go to VCarb instead. Gecko is our first driver on a lap. We'll ride on board with him, but we have still a few things to talk about. I want to give a big congratulations to our winners throughout the rest of the weekend so far up to this point. Tier 3, it was George Up Williams. It's interesting because the only track, Imola, which he won at in Tier 3, that he's repeated wins at in RPL, so fair play to him. Tier 2, John took his first victory for McLaren in only his 3rd start. You also had as well F2 earlier today, where Metal took his first victory as well. It seems like it's been a first-time winner thing as of recent in RPL. And Skither, who is missing tonight's event, like we mentioned. We have J&T in the Ferrari. He won earlier today at F2. So fair play to him on extending the championship lead over there. But Gecko almost going out of bounds there in that fast left-right chicane. Or, sorry, right-left chicane. We see it left-right because the spectator cam on broadcast. But I was going to say, the difference with that chicane this year, Titan, is that chicane is practically flat out.
That's what I was hearing, yes. And another track. Let's see. Yeah, that is a thing that I heard that you can do flat out. I know there's some tracks probably later on in the season that you can do flat out if push comes to shove. As TB setting a 16.7 for him. Gecko on the top with a 16.5. Very strong showing for him. Just taking a look at some of the other guys that are currently out and about getting some laps in. We got Andrea coming across the line now, and he's second with a 16.6. Very good. You guess a 5, a 6, a 7. Are we going to see an 8 or a 4 somewhere?
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. I had it on the interval, so I couldn't even tell it was a 7. But yeah, we've got Cookie on a lap right now. I'm on board with him as well. He's going to try the slipstream with Reese Dainty. They've planned this before. They're doing this because, well, it's going to
on it in the penultimate corner.
Oh boy. Well, it's his debut for Tier 1, by the way, but I was just going to say, with Cookie's sake, those guys at Red Bull trying the slipstream as speed goes fastest with a 15.9. I was just going to say, for Cookie's case, they are trying the slipstream. They're going to do this throughout each session, Red Bull.
Ooh, that was close.
Oh, wow, that was a big slide. Yeah, big moment. Well, I was just going to say, I got the chance to listen in on them before the race, and they do think this is critical to try for tonight's event. Not only because the ERS, but there's 4 DRS zones. It's going to be chaotic. Cookie fast is 15.5 over speed, and there are 5 other drivers who completed laps, which will soon be 6.
Yeah, let's see. So we got Egg currently on a run. His teammate Will Malik 41 currently going through DRS zone number 3 at this moment. I need to get refreshed on the corners for
this
Australia.
This is 11.
Ah,
now this is 12.
Okay, gotcha. Here he comes into turn number 13, down into the gears. Nice and easy, heavy on the brakes. Now just flat out on the exit of turn 14. DRS right there, right at the exit of the corner. There comes Will across the line. It's a 16.9 for him.
Well, he was quite quick in Tier 3 when he did the race there in Imola on the Williams, which is why he's here tonight. And Eggles, second fastest for Aston Martin. The McLaren behind, that is either Hunted or Leo Lund. That is Hunted on a lap. And Hunted, we're going to watch him now as he starts this lap. Just something else to mention about this circuit. You mentioned track limits being one thing, but the curbs can be a bit of an issue for some of the drivers as well. I talked to Red Bull, like I said before, about this race. Hunted's backed off on the lap. But I was just going to say how when I spoke to those guys about what to expect and whatnot, is Reese Dainty trying to get some revenge after last week. He goes fastest. I was just going to say with the bumps that Red Bull were telling me about with Cookie and Reese, with what they were saying, turn 11, that corner you were talking about, is Josh getting held up by an Aston Martin or is he getting a slipstream? I couldn't tell. I was just going to say with the bumps now, as you can see, Josh going to head into turn 11 now. The interesting thing about it is this track is one of the bumpiest, and those bumps are very effective in this kind of corner over here. It will unsettle the car. And we'll have to watch out for that tonight a lot, Titan, that's for sure. Just a couple things to mention. As Josh completes his lap, then we'll start to watch the laps more heavily. Previous winners around the circuit that are racing: Mally, Fake TB, and Cookie. But in the first ever race here, back in Season 1, Race 1, Leo Lund was only 10 years old. So now 4 years later, we'll see what he can do. Almost 5 years later soon to be.
Yeah, talk about time flying by. Talk about time flying by in this regard. I mean, literally looking at this field.
Oh, De Chiller almost, sorry, you can't see the name on the screen, but De Chiller tried to get out of the way of the Ferrari behind and almost smacked the wall. He went 6 passes. That's why I said, ooh, twice. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the chiller with the emojis. I think that's what he's got for his EA name, I guess. That's why you see
Minoan.
those boxes on the stream here. But where was I? No, where was I, anyways?
Sorry about that.
With the entire field, looking at the entire field here, I mean, literally, when you think about Season 1, Race 1, no one on the this active list is actually on this field.
Well, only one
three-
is. De Chiller. That's it.
Oh yeah, I thought the
That's
show was
it,
just
only
strictly
one.
an F2. Was just strictly an F2 in that opening first ever weekend.
We won the first ever weekend of F2, though. You did both races, I believe, at the time.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. I do. Speaking
I know,
about with
it's
that
very
first
weird.
ever
Usually on stream,
weekend,
my memory's horrible.
first ever weekend in RPL. I mean, the Chiller, Maui 41, and Reese are the very first. They were the very first.
Yeah.
They participated in that very first weekend in F2.
Fair point.
And the Chiller being the only guy to be in it for the first ever RPL race.
Season 1 champion, De Chiller. Well, JNT Gaming is on a lap, and he invalidated the previous one. Let's watch him. He went through the first chicane. Now he's going to go through the next one. There's tons of chicanes around this lovely circuit. Well, for JNT's case, it's the best opportunity he's getting. He's a driver who's ran in the Haas, the Sauber, in Tier 1 before. And now he'll get the chance to race in the Ferrari alongside Gecko as the team principal too. But quite fast, quite committed so far for JNT Gaming. Now, DRS about to be applied here. He's on hot lap for his ERS. You can just see how much you waste ERS here quite quickly. You're not going to want to put an overtake really for most a lap, unless you're going to want to end up having deployment used on your screen at the end of the lap. But JNT Gaming, flat out right there and almost over the yellow line right there. A lot of drivers say keep it within the white lines, but this circuit, it's a yellow line. Now to the final sector, he almost clipped the grass right there, but he is absolutely flying. The Tier 2 champion from last season, Titan, is in a really good spot here to go up to the top 5 in his first Ferrari start, too, for good measure.
Yeah, no doubt about that at all. But here he comes. Let's see what kind of a lap he's going to be flying on in. And it is a 15.7. That puts him just a little over a tenth behind his teammate Gecko, and he is currently 4 thousandths behind Josh in the Mercedes, who's sitting in fifth. And I hope that must have been a visual glitch, but when I saw G&T going through turns 1 and 2, I thought I saw some raindrops on my screen.
You could be correct, but the man we're waiting for right now, that is correct. There is raindrops. Leo Lund and Lewis Piper have to do laps immediately. Here comes Leo Lund, the man we've been waiting for, across the line in just moments' time to set this lap. He's trying to do a race against time because of the raindrops falling down. Here comes Leo Lund across the line, fastest, 14.9. That's the time they're all chasing, but they're also chasing a race against time. And because of that, Hunt at LAX made a mistake. He invalidated. He's going to have to go again. And this could be treacherous for him. Lewis Piper's on a lap. He's in the bottom 5. We're on board with him now.
Yeah, there's so many corners where you can make mistakes or invalidate the turns. Turn 1 and 2. That's an easy area that you can get invalidations in. Turn 4, you might possibly risk it. Same with turn 5, and then the fast chicane of turns, I believe it is 9 and 10. That is another area you have to be careful of.
Lewis Piper in the bottom 5 currently. There will be 4 drivers eliminated based on pace due to Kieran having the qualifying ban. But right now, Lewis Piper is joined by teammate Bobby, Hunted, and Davies in the bottom 5. But can Lewis Piper get himself out of the bottom 5? One of his least favorite circuits might become one of his better ones for the time being. 15th for him. Mally 41 back out on track. He's invalidated. Davies coming into the pits, and Hunted as well is going for one more. Luckily, though, for Hunt's case, the rain is not hit too badly to where he still will have enough time to get a lap in and do well. But the issue is for Hunted, though, he's invalidated once already, and he's got a lap that's 5 seconds slower that had a mistake on it previously. But now, the pressure is on for Hunted here for the rest of the session. 4.5 minutes remaining. He's rear locking into turn 3, trying to find a bit of time with that rear locking method that ends up gaining you some speed at random points and random corners. Now the fast right there. And now the end of sector 1, a second up is to be expected. But as you know, Titan, he's got to find more.
Yeah, he's got to find just a bit more out of this one. I'm probably going to be safely saying he'll find it in sector 3. I think that's probably where the worst of it was. Here he comes through to sector 2. He's over 3 seconds up in sector 2. Oh, a little slide heading into 9, but it's fine there. That's a Haas going into the grass. I think that was Bobby. I think that might have been Bobby he avoided there. Nope, that was actually Lewis Piper.
Lewis.
Yeah, Hunted had a little bump, hippity hop on the red curb.
Oh!
Ooh, lordy.
He's still going, though, Titan. He's still going across the final corner. Overtaking Gage. Does he run out of deployment? He will maybe just across the line. He's into the next round of qualifying, knocking Lewis Piper out.
Wow. That was
Bobby
a
on
bit
a
of a
lap now.
hair raiser right there.
Yeah, he's 10 seconds down, Bobby, by the way. I think he's just been told by the Ferrari Academy, though, considering the driver's missing in Haas, just to do your best. So I don't really expect him to get out of Q1 here, but it's going to be against, really, Malley and Alex Fox Johnson here, because Malley is back out on track, the Season 2 winner of this race. Retirements already for drivers thinking they're safe. Leo Lund, Cookie, Egg, Josh, JNT. If you're just joining us, there's 15 of you watching. Q2 up next in about 3 minutes time. But right now, they're racing against time because there is a bit of sprinkles on the track. Not much, but very slight bits of them. Bobby, a little bit of a slide through the final 2 corners there, but he's coming to the line now. I don't expect this to be a bit of a gain, but he's at least within 2/10 of Davies. But it's up to Malley now to do it. A 10th up, Titan. He has the chance to do this, and right now, he'd be in.
Yeah, and take a look at who will probably get shunted down to the bottom 5. Alex Fox Johnson is at severe risk of it. Speed calling it quits. He's in P8, so he should be fine. Looking at guys like Andrea, Red Fire, they might think, I'm not sure if I'll be safe. But Malley does come across the line. It's a 16-8. That puts him 14th. And that's going to put Red Fire in the bubble now.
He's gone back out on track. Hunted, thinks he's safe. He calls it quits. So do a few others as well. Malley into the next round. But Red Fire, Alex Fox Johnson, Lewis Piper, C. Davies, and Bobby, they're all out on track and try and find a way to improve their times. Andrea just went 9th fastest, but Alex Fox Johnson invalidated, and he's gone into the wall after that. The thing is, though, I think he would have had a chance to go out and get one more lap in, but after getting that wing damage, he's out. He's also retired on track as well.
And that you cannot do because of the cars behind, because that will get in the way. And C. Davies is actually coming up fast.
Well, he's not going to get in the way, Alex Fox Johnson, because you can see the car parked on the side of the road. But for Davies, though, he needs probably about 4, maybe, I'm going to say 5/10, though, because Red Fire might be bound to improve. Is he finding that time? He's finding about half of it. Now through the fast right-left chicane, overtake deployed, but he's going to have no battery to end this lap, though. That's going to be the issue for him. So where do you find that time then here? Such a dark racetrack, though, with the cloud cover over the circuit. Now, spinning around. Oh, no. That's going to be it for him. There's still 2 more to go, though. Bobby improving by a 10th in this first sector. Lewis Piper's done. Red Fire Tiger is now just going to be hanging on over Bobby, though. And I can't tell if Bobby was improving or not there. Well, Lewis already had the invalidation right there. But that's gone from bad to worse.
I can't believe this, but Red Fire is good to go. I don't, he could probably just chillax now because he is through to Q2.
Bobby is the only one who can do anything about it. I don't think he's got the time to do it, though. Checkered flag is waving. Bobby across the line. He at least beats Davies, though, so he's not slowest, and he's just behind his teammate Lewis Piper. You are correct about that. Red Fire Tiger, safe, and into Q2 here in the Williams, dragging that boat into the next round of qualifying. We got all teams who've scored points this season so far in RPL F1. Williams did that with Sam Gino, the reserve driver, last week, and Red Fire Tiger was the teammate there. And right now, he's the only Williams into Q number 2.
For those people that are watching that are not in the RPL Discord, there is a bit of a fun fact in regards to tier 1. This is the fastest time in Tier 1 history that all F1 teams scored points in that stretch of a season after round 2. The previous record was after this track last season, round 3. It was season 10, round 3, Australia, all cars scored points. But in RPL as a whole, it is the third time in RPL history that all F1 teams have scored at least points in after round 2. The last time Tier 3 did that in the weekend, and the last time it happened was back in Season 5 of F1 Tier 2.
Bobby Lyons, one of the drivers eliminated, talking about it being the first time him having no ABS off, and he nearly got into Q2, so fair play to Bobby right there. The top of our table, Leo Lund led Q1. Reese Dainty, who's only scored 1 point over the last 3 races that he's competed in. Good momentum for him being in P2, just ahead of teammate Cookie in Q1. You see the rest of our field getting into Q number 2. Both V-Carbs in the top 10. Andrea up there in the Alpine. But our bottom 5, Alex Fox Johnson, Lewis Piper, Bobby, Davies, and Kieran, who had a qualifying ban, though, to serve. Q2 about to get underway, Titan. And as I spoke about Dainty having 1 point to his name in the last 3 races he's done in Tier 1, I know it's disappointing. He's had a lot of chances to end up doing better. Last week, being the one where he put the fight to Leo Lund and ended up having a poor strategy call. He's acknowledged it. He thought it was a full safety car when I checked back to his stream. So that's why he pitted. We figured that out at the end of the ending of last week. But this week, he's already had a cookie in Q1. 4/10 behind Leo, the closest one to him. Is he going to be the one to put the fight to Leo? Is Red Bull going to be the one to put the fight to Leo if anybody can?
It's highly likely. I mean, Reese has had quite a few unfortunate mishaps these last couple of races. I mean, that strategy call that really messed him up last week. Then in Bahrain where he got spun in the first lap and just could not recover much. He only managed to get 10th place out of it, even with the penalty report, even with the stewards report. But yeah, I mean, Reese just, I will say, these last 2 weeks he had probably one of the most strenuous and unfortunate starts to that season. But so far with Q1, he's looking to have basically tried to shake away all the goblins that has been haunting him and haunting his car. And I think it's possible he, along with Cookie, will challenge Leo Lund.
Well, it's fair to say at least that Cookie's domination may be over, but Leo Lund is at least continuing some form of dominance, this time in the path of McLaren, as he'll be the first one we watch on a lap. McLaren, I think, have never won 3 in a row, if I'm correct. We'll have to look at that stat later on in qualifying. But also, they're trying to go for back-to-back poles tonight, and it all starts in Q2 at Leo Lund to spin in Sector 3. That's a Ferrari around. You can tell it's a Ferrari now because they changed the color mapping, as well as the Haas and the V-Carb this week, so we'll talk about that later. Leo Lund starts this lap, and for the point you made about Dainty, it was this race he scored his first points in the Alfa Romeo at the end of this race last season. So Leo Lund starts this lap, turn 3, turn 4 now. A little bit of a slide, a little bit of a moment for Leo Lund, but I think it's all okay. And just remember, some of these guys will be on used tires, others will be on new tires. We'll have to find out later on in the session. But for Leo Lund, 26.4 is the first sector, and just absolutely on rails entering sector 2. Now flat out until you get to the chicane, and you can already see, compared to most drivers, lots of ERS to spare into sector 3.
Yeah, 26.4 for Leo Lund after sector 1. That was pretty dang good. Ooh, what happened?
Invalidation for Leo Lund. He has gone over the track limits, and that was in the fast chicane right there for Leo Lund. We switch to Josh, who will complete this lap and be the first one to have a valid lap time, Titan. He's got 2 more corners to go. And now the Mercedes driver, who's won twice here in RPL F1, is now going to look to be back on form. A bit of a shaky start for Mercedes, but their first points come from last week. 16.1 the benchmark. And then behind that, Gecko goes to a 15.1. Behind that is the V-Carb. That is either Speed or TB. Speed puts a time in our board. Mally does as well. Cookie back in 5th. And next up, the fake TB, our Season 9 winner. Oh, no, that's Reese. Now I'm confusing the Red Bull liveries. Reese, second fastest.
Yeah, TB is actually towards the back end of this group, actually. As TB, who I'm on board with, he's coming around. Hunted had to bail back to the pits. Something must have happened to him for his run. TB coming across the line. He's 5th fastest, 16.1. And with Leo Lund, if he did not invalidate, he would have had 3rd fastest. His time was a 15.850.
Well, if that, it's a bit of an interesting question to ask yourself. What could have happened and maybe what should have happened? But 11 drivers have completed laps. I'm going to go back on board Leo Lund because he is coming to the pit lane while his teammate Hunted might be coming out very soon. The Chiller on a lap. He's the only one yet to complete a lap. We'll watch him. Oh, sorry, no, Andrea has yet to complete one too. But the Chiller's further up on the track. And you could tell that he's actually backed off. He's on none, so we're going to switch to Andrea as he ends up completing Sector 1 now. Andrea, I feel like, has had quite a quiet start to the season. I know, he invalidated a lap. I was just going to say, with him, last week he was in the Alpine and he was battling Zacaria's teammate and actually doing quite well until his collision with Tadpole, who's also missing this week. So for Andrea's case, I've noticed a lot of fast time trials this game, similar to what he was doing back on F122. But you gotta have whatever happens in time trial translate to the race and qualifying, Titan, and he's invalidated, of course, so that's not translated quite well.
No, it is not. I mean, he got it in a corner that's also notorious for it, that being turn 7. That is another corner where you have to be careful of with the track limits, because you can cut in just a little too close and literally it'll just ruin you completely. But yeah, only 4 drivers yet to set a lap. Andrea, Leo Lund, Hunted, and the Chiller yet to get their laps done. And just taking a look at the pit lane, a couple more guys are coming out onto the track. 2 of them are being the Mercedes of Cam and the Red Bull of Cookie.
Yeah, and Hunted will be the first one to start this lap. I've not had you kind of cover this circuit, Titan, but in just a moment time, take us through it. I just want to mention one thing before then. Does he turn an overtake? Yes, just momentarily. All right, take it away.
Here we go into the first quick chicane, turns 1 and 2. Nice and easy through there. Ooh, there's cars in the way. Might want to get out of the way there. As he heads into the heavy braking zone at turn 3. Now back up onto the power. And he's just nice and easy on the 4. Now flat out for 5. Nice and easy as he's going back up into the gears, dropping it down just a little bit through 6 and 7. Now here he comes, working his way up through gears. Now to DRS zone number 2, through to 8 now. There's the teammate Leo Lund dead ahead of him, giving him the slipstream, getting around 207 into the that chicane. Woo! Good Lord, what a wobble there. Wow, but he
Didn't matter.
keeps it together. How in the world did he not lose it there? A little bit of rear lock out of turn 11. Now flat into turn 12, into the next heavy braking zone. Turn 13, nice and easy, little wobble, slide. Now through the final, turn 14, DRS wide open, overtaking Gage. Here he comes across the line, hunted, third fastest, 15.4.
Got some previous Tier 2 champions in this race tonight. With that being said, you got Hunted, you got J&T. It's good to see them in here and doing quite well. Leo Lund. We're going to watch him to see if Hunted ends up repaying the favor a bit later on. I think it was an improvement just a moment ago. I think from a V... No, it wasn't a V-carb. No, I'm just looking at people starting a lap. That is on my eyes getting a bit touchy with me. But Leo Lund now just waiting for his teammate who's backed off and going to help him with the slipstream and repay the favor this time as we head to Sector 2, 26-1. But Leo's invalidated. Oh, no.
Again.
Cookie's up by 0.3. He's right behind those guys who are trying to give a slipstream, and he's going to get one, I believe, from his teammate here. This is Restanty helping Cookie. Cookie in the slipstream. What speed is he going to go here into Sector 3? 204, 205, 207. Now, how does he go here? Balls to the walls? Yes, he does. He's got a Ferrari up in front, too, who's just wall riding right there. Now trying to get out of the way. Cookie, though, should be improving here. I think this will be on a new set compared to the used set he might have used earlier. Both Mercedes quite quick on their times, 4th and 5th fastest, but we're just waiting for others to knock them down. Cookie is the first one to do so. Our winner from this race last season. Podium sitter at the circuit the last 2 seasons. Across the line, second fastest. And Leo Lund will go again.
Leo Lund unfortunately gained the chiller treatment in a sense here. He's really got to keep it within the track limits here. As
But
he
have it
heads
happen
into
in
turns 1
qualifying
and 2
rather
of
than the
Brabham.
race. Just want to say that. Have it happen in qualifying rather than the race if you're Leo.
Mm-hmm.
The chiller, you spoke about him, 11th fastest. He will need more in this kick Sauber, but fair play to him, putting the worst car on the grid up in that 11th place spot. Leo Lund on a lap titan. He's going to have traffic to negotiate. I know you had him invalidate here not too long ago on his lap, but take it away.
Leo Lund just got a little loose and went wide out of 7, but thankfully no invalidation out of that as he works his way through Clark. Now into the fast chicane, he has to be careful. Now, like I said, when it regards to invalidations, he needs to be careful because this happened to him in Bahrain. He had to start all the way down in P12 in Bahrain, but he managed to turn it around and wind up winning it. Here it comes out
P10.
of 11. Now through 12. Oh yeah, because one of the cars in Q3 had a 5-place grid drop. Forgot about that.
It was Q3.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, now coming out through
now.
Prost. Out of the final corner, flying his way down the line, and it is second fastest, 15.2. And I think had he not gone loose and wide out of 7, a bit wide out of 7, I think he could have got himself into the 14s.
We had massive improvements from other drivers on our board right there as Leo Lund crossed the line. Look at that top 8 and the gap they are within Gecko. You got Speed, J&T, Restanty, Leo Lund, all those drivers who improved right there. Speed going quick in the V-carb. It's interesting to see a V-carb that high up, considering they're the 6th fastest team. And the fake TB, I think he improved, but he didn't improve any places. He just is out there compared to Cam, an ex-teammate of his.
Yeah, this is just wild to say the least here. And
It is. It really is. You don't know what to expect here.
yeah, there's no doubt about that. And let's taking a look at some of the other guys that are currently out finishing. Looks like J&T and Reese, I think, they're going to be doing some new laps. Because they were on a lap prior, but they had to back off because of it. But TB, though, TB's coming in hot and fresh. Or maybe not. Nope, he's going back into the pits. He's on a cooldown.
I just wanted to mention, Titan, while you were talking about that, Mally41 tried to go on a lap, but he invalidated. So, although he's only had the game for 3 days, I have to give him at least some credit here, filling in for Jack Miles tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt. He's looking to fire. He's looking to show really strong senses here. I mean, to be fair, the last time he ever raced on an F1 game was right around in the F1 22 days. That was the last time. But despite this foundation, he still has 2.5 minutes to go, so he'll be able to get enough. He'll have plenty of time to get a lap in.
Looks like he saved up enough fuel to do so as well. I'm going to let you take over for Andrea as I have to go grab something. No, he invalidated. Andrea, that's going to be it from him unless he has enough fuel in line to do another lap. Mally 41 will start his final lap here. 2 minutes remain. If you're not on track right now, you're either retired hoping that no one else improves like Cam, JNT, Egg, and Gecko are, or you're trying to improve here and getting out back on track. Mally 41 starts his lap. Turn 1 now. And he keeps it clean this time. But now, turn 2, turn 3, take it away.
So Maui currently heading into the heavy braking zone of turn number 3. Into the braking zone. Nice and easy, feathering the throttle out of 4. Gets a little wide on the curb, but keeps it within the limits. Through 5, flat out. Getting close to around 8th gear as he's just nice and easy through 6 and 7. Does a little, just using that engine braking to get through there. Up in 8th gear as he gets into the DRS detection point for the second zone. Working his way down to 9. Now into 9 and 10. And he's up by over 1/10 of a second. Keeps it clean through that fast chicane. Flying his way down now into the next heavy braking zone of turn 11. And he does not touch the curb too much. Keeps it within the limits there. Very nice work for him. And he's just flat out-ish into 12. Now into the final heavy braking zone 13. Keeping it nice and well. Through now flat out into the Prost final corner. And here he comes. Mally 41. Will he get himself out of the bottom 5? The answer is no. He is 12th. So, I hate to say it, with only 37 seconds to go, I think that's the most he's willing to do. Unfortunately, the Season 2 champion is going to be out of Q2.
Andrea on a lap. Cam trying to defend it. But right now, the Chiller, will he get to the line in time? That's going to be my question here because he invalidated the previous lap. Leo Lund's on an out lap. One of these guys will definitely get there. The other, maybe a question mark. I think they're both going to get there here. But Leo Lund just ahead of the Chiller. Maybe some traffic right there, so we'll see how they navigate that later on. But right now, Cam, will he be able to knock Josh, his teammate, onto the risk zone? Yes. Cam up to 7th, and he's also within 3/10 right there of the front of the field. Andrea
spun out in the penultimate corner, and he's back in the pits and done. Andrea is out.
Woo! Hunted, the Tier 2 champion from Season 10, goes second fastest, ahead of teammate Leo Lund, who's down in the first sector by only 2 milliseconds. You're right about Andrea being out. Red Fire Tiger might be the next one to be eliminated. He's going to cross the line now. Is this going to be enough of an improvement to get himself in? He's going to miss out. He can't improve at all. Mally 41, he's done in this lap. He's just saving up. But it's up to now the fake TB to say something. He invalidated though, so that's going to be it from him. Spinning around is Mally 41, but the Chiller is up by 1/10. This Sauber car, which looks like the Xbox One logo, could potentially get into Q3 if he can just pull out something magical here.
Yeah, he really needs to gain that, but he's backed off. He is backed off. And Leo Lund into the 14s we go.
Fair play for Leo Lund going to the top of the board here, leading Q2 ahead of Gecko and Hunted in 3rd. Fair play, maybe looking for a first Tier 1 podium. Maybe looking for a first Tier 1 pole as well, as Hunted has made 158 races prior, but not a pole position. Or, sorry, well, first start was 158 races prior, not raced 158 races. Let's clarify that one quickly. Leo, Gecko, Hunted, the top 3. In the relegation zone, Titan, TB, Mally, the Chiller, Red Fire, Andrea.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for some of these guys to be out of this one, especially 2 past Tier 1 champions out of Q2. TB, I believe he made it into Q3 both times, in both Jeddah and Bahrain. But unfortunately, that little streak of his ended there. Now he's 41, tried his best, but just could not get himself into Q3. And then Andrea having that mishap in the penultimate corner, that really messed him up. But here we are for Q3, and I am going to be putting in my prediction for who is going to be in the top three and what poll time is going to be. And I'm actually going to do an exact order. Pole position with a 14-7, Leo Lund. Second place, and this is where second and third is going to be controversial. I'm going to say Reese will just barely pass his teammate Cookie in Q3.
All right. Just for clarity, you said the fake TB made Q3 in Bahrain and Jeddah. That is
Yep.
incorrect. The fake TB has not made Q3 at all this season. His best start being 12th. Bahrain is where
Oh,
he got that. Last week, he joined late. So, there you go. That is
I
what's
got
happened
you.
for
Okay.
Just had to correct you. Just had to correct you. Mr. Exact over here. But, yeah.
You're
You
good.
spoke about Q3. If you don't mind, I'm going to speak about the drivers quickly instead of myself giving a few predictions.
Go
JNT
for it.
Gaming. This is his first Q3 appearance since Monaco last season, I believe. That was in the Haas. That was in a rainy session. Speed. I believe it's either his second, third, or fourth, maybe Q3 appearance. But for Speed's case, his first in V-Carb. And getting a V-Carb into Q3 for the first time this season. We've had Aston, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren, all those teams get through, but I don't think V-Carb got through yet, so first time for them. Cookie on pole here last season. Leo Lund on pole last week. Egg has only had one prior pole position in RPL. Cam has only had one prior pole. Hunted has never been on pole, and it's been 158 races since his first start in Tier 1. No podium to his name. Josh, he's never had a pole. Most wins without a pole, I believe. Gecko hasn't had a pole this season, but he had one back last time in Zandvoort. We raced there last season. And Reese Dainty's not had a pole since the end of Season 9. Gecko starts us here for qualifying session number 3. Chat, get your predictions in. Who do you think will be on pole position? Who do you think will have our sights set on, even if it's guys like Speed in the midfield, Egg in the Aston outperforming the car? What do you think the pole time will be? Let us know. 25.9 is our benchmark, though, for Sector 1. Purple through there, but 60% on the battery. And now Titan, he's going to be setting himself up beautifully for the left-right. We've seen full throttle there quite a bit, but what does Gecko do? We've not talked a lot about him. Small lift. Oh! How in the world did he keep that valid is going to be my question for Gecko after this race. Unreal commitment through there.
We've seen a few guys had those types of scary moments, but literally, Leo had that in Q2, as another driver had in Q1. How in the world they did not losing wreck it? That's beyond me. But Gecko setting the benchmark 14.8. We're already within a tenth of my guess pole time.
And will Leo Lund or Hunted say something about it? Hunted invalidated his lap. Cookie spun earlier on. JNT Gaming makes it currently a Ferrari 1-2. Reese Dainty starts the lap. And behind that, Egg. He's gone quite quick so far in time trial this week at the circuit. Practiced a lot for it. But can he turn those second places from qualifying and the races into a pole position? The first time since Season 5 across the line. Only second on our boards. Egg is just missing out once again as we go to Cam.
Yeah, Cam currently going through 11. I thought he was going to validate, but he kept it just within the limits there. Now through turn 13. Let's see what he's got as he comes out of the final corner. 14 DRS, like I said, right at that exit of the corner. He's just roaring his way through as he comes across, and it's a 15.9.
Hunted's
The
off.
Mercedes are currently, yeah, I just see that on the map.
Front wing damage. He'll have to pit. Leo Lund as well starts a lap. We have a Ferrari coming across, but Reese Dainty invalidated. Cookie, I think, is on a lap. Is he? Is he, though? He's backing off, it looks like.
He is.
He is backing off. Both Red Bulls into the pits. Well, Titan, the theme so far this season as we watch Leo Lund now is get a 25-9 in Sector 1, challenge for pole position. The last laps so far in Bahrain and Jeddah were the ones the drivers messed up. I think this time around, it's been the first laps most guys messed up. Both McLaren and both Red Bulls did just that.
Yeah, I have been noticing that, honestly, as he goes to 43.3 after sector number 2. This is rapid out of Leo Lund here as he comes into the last few corners here. Little wobble on the exit of 11. Keeping it with, ooh, don't want to get too much of that curb. We saw what happened with Red Fire in Q2. Here comes Leo Lund, rocket ship out of nowhere, and he has just a smidge above a 14.8 flat.
43.8 for speed now. He's going to come through the fast chicane now. He enters Sector 3. Overtake button on use. Hot lap back on his ERS management. Here he goes. Heavy braking zone of 11. Do not clip those curbs. Very bumpy into here, so very hard to get it right. Now riding on board with him. 3 more corners to navigate. Just on the edge right there. You can just see how much this driver is pushing and trying to get the best out of his car. A little bit of a wiggle wobble when he clipped the inside curb right there. Now out of the final corner. I think he still will have more time in use on this lap, but he still goes fourth fastest ahead of J&Z Gaming and both Mercedes.
Yeah, I've been noticing so far in this entire qualifying session. I mean, no offense to Josh and Cam, because those two are good at what they do in regards to racing in Tier 1, but Mercedes, the team itself, they have been struggling throughout this entire qualifying session. I mean,
Even
Josh
in Bahrain,
and Cam,
they did.
yeah, Josh and Cam, they were basically at the bottom of the top. They were at the bottom of the top 10 in Q1. They were in the bottom of the top 10 in Q2, with Josh just barely getting himself into Q3, and they're at the bottom of the pile right now in Q3, sorry.
Bahrain, they were pointless. Saudi, they scored their first points and were within the DRS train for most of the race as well. But that's going to be the big key. I spoke to both Red Bull guys and I spoke to others. It will be a big DRS train for tonight's race. So for Mercedes' case, if they don't have the pace, they better stay within that train. Or if they don't, it's game over for a chance at maybe a top 5, maybe a top 8, whatever they may be expecting. Cookie, last season's pole sitter, starts a lap right now. And he's got his eyes set on probably a top 3 qualifying spot. His 1-lap pace he said prior to tonight not being the best. So let's see if that's the case. Cookie now has a few more corners to go. Turn 4, turn 5, turn 6 area. Here we go to the end of Sector 1. What's the lap time looking like? His first one was no good. 26.1. This is 2/10 down compared to Leo, but he's got a teammate right in front to give him some slipstream. This is Reese Dainty once again, now deploying the battery and absolutely doing everything he can to give Cookie that little extra edge, but I only think it's just going to help him by a few milliseconds right there. They didn't really pull it off the best of their ability. 43.4, maybe some time gain from the slipstream, but the chicane from Cookie was not really taken flat out as much compared to the others.
I mean, literally, that Sector 2, woo, he had a little bump of the inner curb there in 11. But, yeah, after Sector 2, Cookie was about just a little over a 10th behind Leo Lund out of that one. But let's see what he's got out of the final corner. Let's hope that little bump in 11 didn't really screw him up too much. Here he comes across the line. It is a 15.0. That puts him third fastest.
Imagine if he picked up a better slipstream, what that lap maybe could have been. Could he have been at least in the 14.9s maybe? Reese Dainty starts a lap, and he will get the favor repaid to him in about a good 30 seconds time when we get to the end of Sector 2. We'll see how Red Bull pulls this off with Reese Dainty compared to Cookie. Reese Dainty challenged up in Jeddah for the race victory. But will it be good enough this time in qualifying to challenge for pole position? Cookie got out qualified for the first time since Season 9 Vegas last week. Big moment, but here comes the toe. J&T only 5th, by the way. He improved just slightly, and now here comes the slipstream. It's a massive one. No overtake on use, but hot lap for the Red Bulls. 43.8 right there from Reese.
He's just flying his way through, trying to make that challenge to Leo. Can he do? And he makes the corner of 11 better, a little bit better than his teammate did. But here he comes out of the final couple of corners now. Low rear lock. I think he might have clipped a little bit of the grass there. He got a little too close and comfy with the grass into the person on the 13. But here he comes across the line, and it's a 15-4. What in the world? I think that those snapping 6 and 7 really messed him up.
But this will be it, though, for Red Bull, because Reese Dainty did not get enough fuel in there when he planned this lap. And for Cookie's case as well, he's back into the pits, so Red Bull will only be at least a best of 3rd and 6th. J&T Gaming is into the pit lane. Cam is on a lap, and so is Hunted. Hunted, 3 seconds up, and he's got one of the Red Bull Academy cars in front of him. That is the V-Carb of Speed here, right in front. Hunted, 43.3, so he's on target for a top 3 qualifying. Hunted, last night, took a tier 2 pole position in Austria for the 8th time, his 2nd with McLaren, and he's one off that record in tier 2 on Reese Dainty of 9 poles all time. But for Hunted's case, though, it was losing out on the victory last night after he picked up side pod damage that ended up ending any chance of him beating his teammate John. Never a tier 1 pole sitter, but across the line, 4th is the best he can do, and I'm sure he's going to be happy with that, getting the call up to McLaren tonight.
Literally, after Sector 2, he was 200th behind Leo Lund in that run. And
Gecko down,
but
Titan.
he had a little mishap at the end. A little mishap right in Sector 3 somewhere, but he is still probably going to be very happy with that P4 right there. Gecko is going faster.
Well, he found that time that he missed out on in Sector 1. He was down by 7 thousandths. Now, he's flipped a switch right here. 22 thousandths better. Checker flag is waving.
Make it.
Josh did not make it. You're correct. The Aston as well of Egg, only 3rd, but improving on the time. He is just 2/10 off Leo Lund. Can Gecko put the fight to Leo Lund for pole position, just like Carlos Sainz injured? Will it work out? Across the line? Oh, he just misses out, but he was best in the final sector. Leo Lund is invalidated, so now it is up to either Speed or Cam to pull off a miracle. If that isn't the case, Leo Lund's on pole for a 2nd straight week. Speed is crossing the line now. And did he fix the final sector mistake he had prior? He does. 8th fastest, just 5 thousandths off of Reese Dainty. And it's now up to Cam to dispatch his teammate. But it is gonna be Leo Lund, pole position, week 2 in a row.
By 17 thousandths of a second between Leo Lund and Gecko for that. And Cam goes 6th fastest. Very good stuff.
Mercedes with Cam, they found something at the end there to improve on the timing charts. But it is Leo Lund for a 2nd straight week, taking pole position with 4 different teams inside the top 4. This race has been won from the front row at least the last 2 times. So Leo Lund and Gecko both in great position, but Reese Dainty lagging out. Here's your qualifying order. Leo Lund ahead of Gecko and Egg. Egg outperforming the Aston. Then Cookie, Hunted, Cam, J&T, Reese, Speed, and Josh. Your top 10 order. Just a reminder, your strategy for tonight, probably a medium hard. Hard medium we're expecting. But no rain scheduled for the race from the looks of things.
And I was just taking a look at the chats here. Cookie complaining of screen freezes during that last run that he had. So, I mean, what could have been if those screen freezes did not exist? And I actually just hit this off a little bit. Hunted after Q2, you remember he got into like 3rd or 2nd? He did that when he finished that lap. His soft tires, he did 4 laps. And they were at 12%.
He's going to
and
back
he still
up.
managed a top 5.
Leo Lund quite well. Reese Dainty has joined back the session, and he is back in here ahead of the start. Well, we
man.
have less than 30 seconds, I think, in a few moments' time until the start. Titan, we've seen some crazy starts around here. Season 9, this race was red flagged momentarily. Last season, Be Good and The Chiller came to collision down at turn 1. In Season 4, F1 and the wet start, we didn't even get to turn 1. But I see a mix of strategies right now based on Cookie Stream. Some guys thinking of 2 stops here potentially. Maybe that's what the game is only putting them on. But if that's not the case, though, we're going to see a 1 stop of medium to hards. What do we think we see on lap 1 here tonight, as we've seen chaos ensue here in Australia in the past 25 seconds?
Well, we may possibly be seeing that. We may be seeing that again, possibly the chaos tour. If there's going to be chaos, we're probably going to be seeing it in the middle of the field. So probably in around like the G&T to Malley area. Expect something to go wrong there, possibly.
5 seconds.
I'm not sure if we'll see it in the front, but we'll find out.
So, Season 11, Round 3, Australia. Coming underway now. The 5 red lights come upon us. They rev it up, and the lights go out. Leo Lund looks like he had a bit of wheel spin, but he's going to cover Gecko, and he's pulling to the inside. A Sauber took the wheel on the grass, and because of Reese Dainty lagging out, screen freezes, possibly causing him to fall to the back. But Leo Lund goes defensive. Josh around at turn 1. He's looped it, but now Leo Lund stays ahead as we enter turn 4. Alex Fox Johnson and the Chiller going side by side. I think Alex Fox Johnson got the worst end of that, falling now outside the points. The Chiller to 10th, Malley to 9th. But Leo Lund still leads this race, and Gecko needs to find some way to stay within DRS here by lap 2, because Leo Lund will turn on that battery and try and pull now.
Yeah, Leo Lund got a bit bogged down with that wheel spin on the lights out, but he did, as you mentioned, he did cover off the Gecko there, and it looks like we got trouble behind. Saw some yellow flags there. It looks like Alex Fox had some problems. Reese, even though he just came back after being lagged out, all the way down in. Oh wait, wait, what happened to Reese? Oh my God, he got kicked out, he got booted out of the session, and the game retired his car.
And a bad start to the season, gone from bad to worse for Reese Dainty. Alex Fox Johnson into the barrier as well. Leo Lund leads lap 1. The Chiller through on Malley, 2 former champions there traded up, but Gecko is going for the lead. Gecko! He doesn't care about waiting around. Gecko through and ahead.
Yeah, Gecko wasted no time.
C. Davies, Alex Fox Johnson, both out. VSC deployed.
Yeah, C. Davies just went into the pits and retired. Alex Fox crashed in the final corner.
Oh, man. Heartbreak for Red
mean,
Bull.
He did have
having
damage.
Reese out as well. Yeah. Unfortunate.
I think, yeah, AFJ, he had damage. Did he cool start himself?
I don't know. That's a good question. This pit lane can be tricky for the drivers, but this seems like a sped up VSC Titan. They're going quite quick for the VSC.
I mean, this track is pretty dang quick, so keeping the not losing much on the delta is it's actually not difficult to do, to not be in the red on your delta, especially in some of these fast sections. Like where these guys were a few seconds ago.
Titan.
What's that?
C. Davies had a wheel issue. That's why he retired from this race. A very long VSC, surprisingly. And one other thing to mention as we get back to Green Titan, with Egg and Cookie being on hards compared to Leo and Gecko, it's going to be very critical for them to stay within DRS before the pit stops happen. Drive-through for Red Fire.
That sucks, and he was in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, so he really got hindered there by the timing of the VSC, but the top 10, top 11 remain in DRS here all together. The Chiller and Malley, 2 different strategies right there. They were trading a bit ago. TB, a former Australian Grand Prix winner, right there in 11th. But Leo Lund deploys the battery. Now, he puts it in medium to stay tucked in behind Gecko, and now use the help of DRS to save some battery. Is he going to go for it? Yes, he will. The long way around. Leo Lund takes back the lead of this race.
Yeah, unfortunately, because of it, no DRS is active. No DRS for Gecko after that pass because the detection point in turn 7 is for DRS zones 2 and 3. So Leo 1 had the advantage of having both DRS zones for him. But now Gecko
Whoa!
could get it here. Ooh, yeah.
The fake TB just forced Mally off track, it looked like. Both almost had a worse moment, but Mally, I think, has wing damage to his car.
I can't tell on it once he gets in the frame here.
And Gecko made a mistake
Yes,
at
he
turn
does.
1. Hold on, Gecko made a mistake at turn 1. It's going to allow Egg to close up, but nothing made from it. Kieran from a qualifying ban up to 12th. He gained the most spots, by the way. Sorry to cut in.
You're all good. Very good on Kieran to get up into the 12th. He's only a couple spots away. We got trouble in turn 3. That is a Haas making a mistake. That is Bobby in trouble. We got Egg all over the back, looking to pounce on Gecko after that little mistake he had in turns 1 and 2. And as you did say, Maui 41, he does have wing damage on the right end plate, is missing on that Aston. But now Gecko trying to hunt down Leo ahead for the lead. But Egg tucked in right behind. But don't forget Cookie. Cookie is back in there as well.
This is going to be such a big fight at the front of this race. You have to stay in DRS if you want to have a chance at this race victory later on. Kieran gets through on Mally. So for Mally, before the pit stops, it's going to have to be damage limitation for him with the way this race is going for him. Him and TB were racing it out wheel to wheel into turn 11, and then in 12, it got feisty between them. Fastest laps going all over. It's like a lottery. J&T Gaming winning out on that one, though, taking the fastest lap. Gecko still managing ERS quite well, managing it, I'd say, better than Jeddah and Bahrain, but 12% worse than Leo Lund right now on that battery. Egg fully charged.
Fight here.
Cookie fully charged. You're right. Andrea is on Molly now. Inside for Andrea. Molly on the outside. Molly getting pinched under the curb and had to back out right there. Lewis Piper there to challenge. Is he going to go around the outside here? No way. Oh, into the wall.
Ooh. I don't think that was going to work.
Cookie now on the back of Egg for third place. Egg closing up to Gecko. It's a 4-car fight at the front of this field, and I think Egg wants Gecko to overtake Leo. Therefore, they all can fight it out and not just stick behind and have a risk of hitting each other here. Here comes Gecko moving around, but cannot make the move. And Kieran picks up the first track limit penalty of this race.
Yeah, that was in the fast chicane between DRS zones 2 and 3. That's where it is, and Gecko just all over the back of Leo, trying to force Leo into making a mistake. But Leo holding his own right now, as looks like Gecko not close enough to make an attack into turn 1 and 2. But I think he will go for an attack in turn 3.
Here he comes, gaining, now alongside. Gecko reclaims the top spot of this race, but did he brake late enough to keep it? Yes. DeChiller also picks up a track limit penalty. Mally into the pits, and he's our 4th retirement of this race. 4 retirements, 6 laps in. It's really unfortunate for the guys who've lost out so far in this event. And as I was saying on qualifying, Titan, Cam out of DRS. That's crucial for this race, and the fake TB. He's had an off. He's got damage.
Yeah. And that's a bit of an off out of turn number 4. And you got heavy damage to that V-carb there as James T, by the way, just passed Cam before.
And Leo got Gecko.
Yeah.
Leo got Gecko back, and Gecko has some pressure from Egg coming behind. Ooh.
Egg got very close. Look for an attack on Gecko, but Gecko making himself extra thick to keep him back.
And I think Egg is just sitting here pushing Gecko along, saying, speed up. I have Cookie right on me. If I don't hit you here, even if it's just the smallest of nudges, I'm gonna get overtaken. Mally 41 leaving the session. Unfortunate return for our Season 2 champion here. But it's still a race at the front of this field. Cam is back in DRS. So is Hunted and J&T on the front runners here.
But look who's also just caught up with this group. Hunted's involved with it too.
Speed has as well for V-Carb. He's back in the fight too.
Yeah, Bobby's just not having fun at all. He's lost in the penultimate corner, seeing it on the track map.
So Now we got Egg on the back of Gecko here, fighting it out. Will he get close enough? Gecko, will he get close enough to Leo Lund? Bobby, our 5th retirement out in the pit lane. But now, at the front of the field, can Gecko, can Egg, one of those guys, get the race lead over Leo Lund? Gecko gonna put the fight, but can't do it. Now just cuts right in front of Egg.
Gecko.
Cookie and Hunted go side by side because that they had to take evasive action, and luckily Hunted tucked back in, not to lose any more time.
See damage on somebody on the other guys ahead. I did see, we did see carbon fiber coming to fly up here. Gecko, not wasting no more time. He goes into the lead ahead in turn 2.
But he went a little wide. Is he gonna keep it though on corner exit? Here comes Leo Lund back at it to challenge. Leo Lund around the outside stays behind. But this is such a fight. Leo Lund is so vulnerable here, and he's about to get overtaken maybe by by Egg now, as he's got Gecko in front. Excuse me.
Yeah, this is getting quite wild here, no doubt about it. We got Egg in that middle of this field. He's got the overtake deployed. I think Egg's deciding I'm not wasting any more time. I might go for a shot, but here comes Leo Lund on the outside. Gecko, Egg following right with him.
Gecko falls from 1st to 3rd. And what's going to happen at the next straight with this massive DRS train? Hunted now in the penalty club as well. But Leo Lund hangs
Cookie.
on. Now Gecko squeezes Cookie into the wall. And Hunted tries to take advantage.
Yeah, Cookie went off the outside to attack Gecko. Gecko just cut in. Did chop block, but it was too late for the chop block, and Cookie did get whomped into the wall, and Hunted just temporarily, as Cookie back on the inside gets ahead of Hunted. But yeah, Hunted out of London.
Here comes Egg!
Was like, thank you very much.
For Aston Martin! New leader of this race, Egg to the point. How about that for Aston Martin and a driver who's never won before in a weekend filled with 2 first-time winners so far?
This is just getting really good, to say the least, and Leo Lund had just a little bit of a slip out of the exit of turn 7. That leads Egg to get a little bit of a gap here, but here we go. Now to the DRS zone here. Let's see where Leo's going to be going. He's going to be going onto the outside. They're going to be, as they get through the fast chicane, Egg backs off just a little bit to allow Leo through. Leo is back into the lead, but now here comes Egg being shot by Gecko and Cookie.
Whoa.
Cookie going down the inside. Ooh, clunk by Cookie to get in the second, and Gecko goes to the inside Egg's car, but Gecko just could not get that next position.
Cookie wanted to put the fight now to Leo Lund, and he wanted to take advantage now as well. Andrea and Lewis are now wheel banging here for 11th place, but Andrea will get these spots later on when penalties get applied. Further on back, the Merkin V-Carb are battling it out. It is so chaotic here to start this race, and we're only a third of the way through.
Yeah, it's literally everyone just jostling for position and speed, by the way, on the inside in the 3. Gets past Cam. The Chiller gets the second track limit penalty of this race. That is not what he wants. Because with the penalties applied, he is going to get dropped down all the way to 13th.
So, at the front of this field, it's a 8-car race. All of them in DRS, all of them with a chance, and they have to remain this way before the pit stops. Because once the pit stops happen, that's the likely case of them getting cycled out, spread out once everything cycles out. And Gecko, by the way, I won't be surprised if he gets a clip submitted on him later on for his incident with Cookie, as his teammate J&T now takes the pieces up to 5th place. He's looking for his best Tier 1 finish here.
It was a bit of another stack up ahead because Hunted got into the back of Gecko in 11, and I'm not sure G&T got into the back of Hunted as well, but Hunted was all out of shape out of 11, and G&T took full advantage of it and took that 5th place spot. But literally, as you said, the top 8 so close together.
Whoa!
You could literally You could literally fit them all inside of a minivan.
Well, for Egg, I think he was getting too close to other people inside that minivan. He did hit the back of Cookie, actually. Andrea threw on DeChiller. These two Italians both have collided in the past, and DeChiller wanted to have a go, but he couldn't. Now for our race lead. Cookie trying to become another new race leader to this race. He's throwing at Leo Lund for the lead. How about that for Cookie? Now can he hang on at the end of this straight? He's going to deploy overtake and run away with it now.
Yeah, but deploying that overtake is really gonna kill your ERS availability on you. Cookie has about 27% available to him, while Leo Lund has just over double that available.
Kieran, big slide. He had the penalty just a moment prior, but the two Alpines are going to squawk it around here for 9th place on track. Andrea, big send into the braking zone, but pays off with the place. And Gecko is the first win, and expect to see Leo Lund come in next as well.
I think Leo will probably come in this time, this coming lap, just to cover off Gecko. But he's gonna have to be careful because he's literally got two ferocious guys in between with him. He's got Cookie right ahead, and an Egg who has been on a tear. Not gonna lie here. What's really crazy is that this is with all the times that the leads change back and forth. Literally, the top 4 have swatted the lead, probably almost 10 times in the span of 12 laps. And we're gonna have another Leo fumbles his way into the lead back from Cookie.
Leo Lund reclaims the top spot, but will Cookie and Egg be there to pressurize before he pits? Leo Lund using a bit of battery, not this time though on this straight. He will be pitting soon. The question is when though. Josh on the recovery drive, not getting one, but getting 2 cars there. And next up are both Alpines. Look at the overspeed from this Mercedes right here. Here comes Lewis Piper. Now in the background, Gecko. He's in this train as well. He just pitted, and as Leo Lund pits, he'll come out in this train as well. So you have to navigate your way through these cars when you do pit, because these are going to be the guys you're battling. Here's Josh trying to get cars. Gecko, I think, ran in the back of Lewis Piper there as he tried to let him by. But Gecko now, we're going to watch where he's going to be in comparison to Leo Lund. Leo Lund exits now, and he will be stuck in this train at some point. But where in it, though? Oh, teammates,
just ahead
Academy
of him.
teammates. Wow.
And the Alpine forming a roadblock.
Look at this. Gecko, massive balls to send it down the inside. Risky move, but it pays off. And Josh threw on Kieran as well. So because the Alpines tried to help out the teammate right there, the Academy teammate, it ended up helping Josh get a place. And speaking of a place, it's the place to be for Egg to take the race lead at the front of the field once again.
It's J&T.
J&T, a previous Tier 2 champion, he's getting on quite well as well. Sigma Hunter is just behind him. J&T's off. Oh, and he's off again. J&T Gaming's good day has now gone to bad. He's facing the wrong way.
And what happened was that I was catching it on the onboard with G&T. Cookie dived down on the inside and completely locked up and lost control of the car in turn 11. Cookie and G&T came together, and that's why G&T went off into the gravel and then ultimately lost it when coming back onto the racing surface.
But he just gave Leo Lund DRS there as he went into the pit lane. So that's going to be the tricky thing for J&T to realize here. He'll get DRS again for another straight because of that double detection point. So Gecko will probably realize it and maybe start to use a bit more ERS. But Cookie is now in the penalty box, as well as other drivers at the front of the field. I was just complimenting J&T and Hunted, the 2 Tier 2 champions at the front of this field, for doing a good job. But they just absolutely sold it there, J&T did, for his race and Ferraris. And Gecko now gets a 3-second as Hunted overtakes Cookie.
That was in turn 7. That's where he had that. And Cookie, I believe he also got in turn 7 too. So it looks like turn 7 is really taking out some of the front runners.
Josh in an Alpine scramble here in the midfield. These guys yet to pit, but that doesn't phase him at all.
Whoa!
What happened?
It was all out of shape out of the final corner.
And keep in mind, although Egg is not in DRS, this will cost those guys behind, not in DRS, but help Egg for when this overcut does happen. Big moment for Cookie. Speed will take advantage now. He's just not close enough. Andrea is in, and now Leo Lund getting challenged from Gecko, who takes over the net race lead.
This is where the war is going to be. It's between Leo and Gecko here, and Gecko does have the advantage. As we see here, as the cars ahead, they're going to be pitting within the next couple of laps because Andrea is the first of the hard tire runners to come into the pits.
Cookie trying to regain a spot ahead of Hunted, but cannot do it. Speed as well, lurking in the background, but Hunted gets a second track limit penalty. This race very well could be decided by the track limit penalties, but right now, Cookie's not hanging around. Hunted back up the inside and gets aggressive, and he shoves Cookie almost off. I think Cookie just barely stayed on, but this time they're costing themselves. Will affect them when they all pit. Egg is around! Egg from the lead! Oh no! Big moment!
God.
Big moment for his race as Leo Lund got Gecko moments ago. Speed is in.
He is in, but that is just heartbreaking for Egg right there. I think he got a little too aggressive on the power out of the penultimate corner and lost of grip and spun out, lost the traction there. But Egg, oh man, that is just disappointing there. But thankfully, he is within DRS of the cars ahead of him, of Cam, Cookie, and Hunted. Hunted is technically right now the race leader.
I just don't think this will matter for these guys whenever it comes to pit stops, though, with Egg.
Yep.
Because look at his gap to Leo Lund, 8.5 right there. So a costly mistake from what was the race leader, Egg. We're past halfway, though. Will these guys wait it out for a safety car? Will they go to softs? What will happen? Egg through on Cam. Now, Cookie on the inside of Hunted going for round 2. Cookie gonna send this one, and he's getting Hunted pushed onto the curb right there.
Giving Hunted a little love tap, saying, "Hello, I'm here too. I want that position from you." And it looks like all three of them are coming in. Same with Cam.
All four of them. Don't speed. You got to get it within the speed limit. Looks like they've done just that. Andrea getting red fire tiger here in the midfield. We've not talked a lot about the midfield drivers and the drivers struggling behind, but our race lead is now in Leo Lund's hands, while Gecko has just set the fastest lap. And look at where these guys all come out. Speed is gonna be on the podium right now in the V-Carb.
Speed getting the best benefit of the doubt in regards to the strategy. He does get ahead, and Cookie is now waiting on those tires to warm up. Shots to decide to make an appearance, but got a little too deep in turn 3.
Maybe tried to help out some Academy teammates right there of Egg and Cam. Looks like he did.
Possible. I mean, he let Cam through.
Yep. Gecko in striking distance of Leo Lund, but Gecko's only hope for this race will be avoiding the steward's office and getting Leo Lund a track limit penalty. Here we go for our race lead once more. Gecko closing, but not gonna do it. Cookie also has Hunted right behind, but that's only for P4 as Speed is on the podium right now in a V-Carb. This would be their first podium since Florian got one in the AlphaTauri when they were last called that in Season 8.
Yeah, I'm just actually going to be taking a quick little peek here at the penalties that the warnings and stuff here for these guys here. As we're just taking a look, Gecko currently grand total in regards to track limit warnings. And,
hold on.
Yep.
Gecko through into the race lead. Egg through on Hunted.
So Gecko, in regards to total track limit warnings, he has 4 on him. His last one was back on lap 16, was his last track limit warning. Leo Lund only has 1 to his name, and that was back on lap 4.
Crazy stuff from Leo Lund so far. 8.1 the gap between him and Speed. These guys in this train, although Speed is about to get these guys out of DRS, they have to work together to get to the cars in front. Here comes Egg on Cookie now. Penalty versus no penalty. Egg through and ahead.
Yeah, Cookie will still have DRS because he was just within range against his academy teammates' Speed here, who's still sitting in that third place spot, but Egg is hounding all over the back of him to try to go for a third place spot. As Kieran, by the way, he's just got his third track limit penalty.
We'll give you a look at the penalties now since everybody except for Josh is pitted. Here you go. Fastest lap for Egg. That is important. He needs to get by Speed now. But for our race lead, that's a change in hands. Leo Lund ahead of Gecko now. But can Egg get the overtake now done on Speed? These two have no love lost for each other. Both exited the Ferrari Academy. Cookie pinching Hunted now. And Cookie still ahead. As Josh comes out behind Lewis and Kieran.
But he will have the freshest mediums available to him, and he does not have track limit penalties to his name, so he will get a couple of positions here once he gets caught up, because I believe Lewis Piper, he has a 3-second penalty, but Josh will get Kieran on the penalties. Meanwhile, Egg looking, not close enough just yet to go for an overtake to get past Speed, but he will possibly see it this time. Speed trying to play the teammate game to help his boss Cookie out, but unfortunately Egg down the inside, he is in the third place, and Cookie is unfortunately stuck behind the V-carb.
This is crazy because if Egg and Speed can go catch Gecko here and work it out in the last 9 laps here, they can get a podium here because of Gecko's penalty, and maybe even penalties coming in the steward's room. Cookie, Speed, Egg all close together, but Speed now gets the upper edge as he takes over third place, with Egg getting a track limit penalty now. The fake TB also had one just a moment prior.
And that is not good. That's not what Egg would have wanted. He would have wanted to stay penalty free and get for a podium and hunt down these guys. And Kieran just got himself his second track limit penalty for him and for his troubles.
Here we go for our race lead again, 3/10 the gap. I don't think Leo Lund is going to be challenged too much here by Gecko, but Gecko knows what's at stake. Egg now going through, Cookie going through, Speed left vulnerable now, down to 5th from being 3rd.
Yeah, but he's going to feel a bit more vulnerable because Hunted is there as well, so Speed will probably lose another position. And let's see what happens. A long way around for Hunted, and he gets it done. Hunted up into 5th place.
A lot of moving around here in this train for sure, but right now Speed is on for a first V-carb podium. He's had a podium before in the team that Hunted is racing for, McLaren, but V-carb would break quite the drought if they get one tonight. Lap 21 now of this race.
Lap 21 for the event, and looking at the gap, when I saw the gaps, looking at the gaps here between Gecko and Egg, it was 7.9 seconds at the moment. Cookie overtook Egg to get 3rd place. So let's see what Egg can have in store. Let's see if these guys are willing to try to catch up to Gecko. Now, I just took a look at the race direction to see what Gecko and Leo had for if they got any more warnings. The answer is they haven't gotten anything yet.
We're going to find out what happens here for our positions that might be trading once again. Gecko is close to Leo Lund, and I think he's kind of saving some battery. He's on none right now. As for Egg and Cookie, they're remaining in this train quite settled in, but with the penalties. Speaking of penalties, the Chiller adds another to his name. He's got 9 seconds, but will he remain in the points when this race ends now becomes the question. He's not had a points finish so far this season as well.
I'm just taking a look at it right now. The answer is it is going to be no, because Josh will jump his way in 8th. Lewis Piper will go to 9th. Andrea will be in 6th. Yeah, Gecko just slingshot his way through in the 3. And he's taking the lead back. But yeah, the Chiller will fall down to 11th.
So, if things stand the way they do right now, it would be Leo Lund, then Gecko, pending the steward's office, then Speed, Cookie, Egg, and Hunted. Or Cookie, Egg, Cam hunted with the way things stand. Move made right there in the back. Josh on Kieran, and Josh going for another one. And now our race lead changes hands once again. Meanwhile, Leo Lund back out in front. Also Egg on Cookie. Egg threw up into third once again, but he has the penalty. Hunted does too, who also gets Cookie.
Yeah, bear in mind though, Hunted has 6 seconds of penalty, so with the race ending right now, Hunted will be demoted down to 7th place. Why 7th? Because Speed has no penalties to his name, and Cam, despite having a 3-second of his own, he is within 3 seconds of Hunted. The gap right around 1.3 seconds.
Gecko made a mishap there of turn 2, and he couldn't pounce on Leo Lund right there, but Egg is remaining on the podium for just now. However, he's going to need Speed to get a penalty, though, in order to get the podium, at least maybe in the steward's room or on track limits. Egg's podium streak could be coming undone here. Sits second in the championship, but who knows what can happen later on.
Yeah, the gap between Egg and Speed right now is 1.4 seconds. Ooh, Cookie got a little squirrely out of 6, but keeps the car in control. He did lose a little bit of time to Hunted. And meanwhile, because of these guys fighting, about 2 laps to go, Egg, who was in third, I noticed after crossing the line, was 7.9 seconds behind Gecko. As Hunting now has himself into third place. These guys have lost 1.2 seconds to the front 2 in the span of 3 laps.
Although it's not going to be the first podium Hunter would have wanted, he's at least up into the podium places on track. Andrea gets through onto Chiller. These two have no love lost for each other. Remember Austria? Remember Canada last season? Well, both Italians almost coming together again. Andrea with a big mishap there out of turn 11 on the power. Ooh.
Yeah, these two do not have a thing for each other at all. But just a little bit behind the Chiller. Lucas catching up. Josh is caught up. He's on so much softer tire than the Chiller, and he's on newer mediums compared to Andrea by almost double the distance. And Josh is within the DRS of the Chiller, so expect a 3-way fight between these 3 guys for the 8th place spot.
And the Chiller went wide, and he gives it up.
Yep.
Now for our race lead, Gecko threw on Leo, and Egg threw on Hunted. I don't think this fighting is over, regardless of the penalty status. Here comes Hunted back at it. Is he close enough to make this move on Egg? No. But I'm thinking if you're Egg or Hunted, I think you would want Speed to get in the penalty club here quite soon.
Yeah, Gecko just deploying a bit of the overtake ERS on the exit of the final corner to keep Leo behind. He has done so, but looking at the ERS available to them, Gecko has about 60%, while Leo has a full battery available to him.
And DRS, which will be much more powerful with Gecko using that battery quite a bit. Even with this fighting, no gaining from Egg, Hunted, Cookie, Speed, or even Cam, who's also had a quiet race for Mercedes as well, considering that boat of a car. But V-Carb, like I was mentioning earlier, Titan, it's been a while since they've had a podium. You want to talk about the exact amount since their last podium? In RPL F1, 62 races ago, back in Season 8, Round 9, Canada. Here we go for our lead once again. Leo Lund takes it over.
Very nice move. Very nice maneuverability by Leo Lund. Just keep still putting that staunch fight to Gecko. I mean, Gecko, if he did not have that track limit penalty, this is actually a very good and strong fight here.
Agreed.
Between these guys.
Agreed.
And Kieran just can't keep it together for the track limit penalties. That's his 5th one, I think.
Despite the injury that Gecko is racing with, he's going to get his best finish of the season if he keeps it up right now, because even though these guys have penalties, even though he moved under braking and slammed into the side of Cookie, which was really silly on Gecko's part, he will probably only get a 5 for that, to my guessing. So now, Hunted and Cookie fight it out on the main straight. Cookie going through, and Speed wants to take a piece of this. Dude, look at this. Down the inside, Hunted using the grass, and now rejoins behind Cam. I was just going to say about Gecko, Egg has been the one second on the podium compared to Gecko being third on the podium this season. Maybe it's Gecko's turn to get second on the podium this season. But big racing here, Titan. Big dueling here for third place and onwards.
Yeah, absolutely there. And just taking a look, this is just getting really good. And Speed, by the way, just roaring it to life with that B car. He's gonna have, now with Speed, he's gonna have to be careful because he does have 2 warnings to his name. He just, if he gets any more, it's gonna be the end of him.
Hunted into the wall. I think he clattered the wall when he tried to overtake those guys, but he's still in this train. He just lost a place and almost is going to lose DRS here if he continues to do stuff like that. We're about to reach lap 27, and since the battling has calmed down slightly, let's give you a reminder. The rest of the F1 races to continue out.
Another fight.
Oh, yep, Lewis Piper getting 9th, having a quiet race. He said this is one of his worst tracks, but he's proving that that's not true today. He's having quite a good race. Just going to say the upcoming tracks here, you have Japan next week, then followed up by Miami, Imola, and Canada here throughout the rest of the July time period as we end off this month here of racing in RPL tonight.
If my memory is right, Imola, I'm not going to be available for that one because I'm going to be on vacation.
Correct. I think that's when we'll have probably Lando come in, maybe. I don't know. If it's not him, it will be either Nathan Richards or George, either one.
Whichever one works.
Not J&T, though, anymore, because he's racing Tier 1 full-time. He's running 14th, and I'm going to guess if he were to pit for fastest lap, this would be the time to steal it away from Egg. Lewis Piper, a 3-second time penalty added to his name. That's going to be costly for the points positions right here. But I think the only guy he can be overtaken by is really Andrea at this point.
Andrea has the exact same amount as Lewis Piper. He has 6.
But if Lewis Piper gets another one, though,
Chiller's 9.
That will do it. It has to be another penalty or a mistake forced into right there. Gecko closing on Leo Lund. You said this was a good battle, despite the penalties. For what? Maybe the 10th time these two traded? Oh, dummy! Gecko! Yeah. Long way! Will he pull it off? Side by side. Gecko inside line to the next corner. Although this fighting is meaningless, Gecko will win the race on track if he just stays in front. Now, like I said, despite the injury, he's doing a well of a job here despite the 3-second. Now, with this fighting, is he looking to get that removed?
It just depends on where he got, when he got them happening. That is the big question is, we're coming close to the final lap. Gecko, the ERS available to him, 27%. Leo Lund has full battery available.
So, although this fighting for the lead is meaningless, it can be later decided in the stewards room. Maybe if Gecko appeals that 3-second, but also doesn't get a penalty for the cookie incident. But then if he does try to appeal and get a penalty for the cookie incident, that would be game over in this fight for the win if he is looking to appeal the 3-second. Final lap underway, and although he's not going to win this race, we've got to talk about Gecko and the fact that earlier this week on Friday, he was injured, and he's basically doing, except for the track limit penalty part, what Carlos Sainz did in the 2024 Australian Grand Prix. He's ran beautifully, but right now, Leo Lund wants this victory on track and on penalties as Cookie and Speed take over 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, Speed has taken it over, but it's not... But Cookie still has the penalty available to him, though. And Egg... Whoa, baby!
Big moving around in the braking zone. Big movement from Egg ahead of Speed, and now Cam and Hunted. This battle's not done yet. For a race lead, Leo Lund will get the victory on track, but he wants it at least on track and on penalties.
He just slingshot in there, and he's just gonna dump all that battery available to him. He has over 50, almost 50% out of there. And wow, what a wild race it's been. Oh, this ain't over. Oh, Egg off!
Cam off as well. Big incidents here on the final lap, but Leo Lund is gonna make it 3 in a row. The first time for McLaren to get 3 in a row. He's driven beautifully. He wins the Australian Grand Prix over Gecko, who gets his best finish of the season. Second place, injury to podium, and Speed gets his second podium. But welcome back, V-Carb, to the RPL F1 podium for the first time in 62 races. Egg is 5th. Hunted, letting Cam by at the end there after a bit of contact on the final lap. Egg only 5th, his worst finish of the season. Cookie off the podium once again for a 3rd straight week. Hunted 7th, Cam 6th. Josh, good recovery for 8th. While Lewis Piper and Andrea take the final point spots. Or does Andrea take it? No, the Chiller did. The Chiller got his first points of the season.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair,
chaos.
I would say I'm not gonna get. I hate saying it, but I'm not gonna have a definitive driver today. But I have. I have four.
TB has a puncture on his left rear tire, and he only did 9 laps on the softs. Well then.
Did not expect that. But yeah, so as for like my contenders for being a driver today, I mean you have Gecko who basically raced injured. That's where I'm gonna give him some really good fair credit. Speed putting V-Carb on the podium for the first time in over 3 seasons. That's really good for him as well. And then, I mean, Leo going 3 in a row. That's also really good for him as well. So he's another contender as well. And then my 4th, yeah, I have a 4th. I'm gonna have to give it I have to say Egg. He was fighting tooth and nail to try to get himself towards the podium, but then that last lap thing with Cookie, that really ruined him up.
Leo Lund celebrates on the podium for a 3rd straight week. The most races led as championship leader by a Swedish driver in RPL F1. He can spray the champagne there on the top step once again for a 3rd week in a row. Here are your final results. You know what? You want to talk about driver of the day contenders before we get interviews in? I'm going to have to go with my top 3 being Speed. I mean, I'm giving Speed driver of the day, but my second onwards positions back in terms of driver of the day, Leo, Gecko, Josh, and Lewis Piper. All of them deserve the credit where credit is due, whether it be for recoveries, pace in certain cars that it shouldn't be, certain circumstances with them. I think that kind of stuff solidifies them as worthy contenders. Here are your final results. We lost 5 drivers from this race, a very disappointing one in terms of the DNF rate. You see the positions gained from grid spots. See our final results as Egg took fastest lap and Leo Lund won for a 3rd straight week. The most wins in a single season by McLaren, tying their season 6 record of 3 wins then in a single season for that team. And apparently Egg is looking to get Speed penalized, so will Speed keep this podium becomes the question. That will be interesting. That will be very, very interesting, actually.
Yes, it will be.
So, Titan, while I prep getting Leo Lund in for an interview if he wants one, how about you go over our upcoming races here next week for Tier 3, Tier 2, F2, and F1. We already know F1's in Japan, but where are the other tiers for next week?
Let's take a look-see. So for Tier 3, which for myself and Ryan, it's on Independence Day, 4th of July. They'll be racing around at Silverstone. Then on Friday, July 5th, we'll be seeing the Tier 2 field taking around the Barcelona Catalunya track of the Spanish Grand Prix. Then next Saturday, F2 will also be paying a visit to Silverstone for round 4 of their championship. And as you mentioned earlier, next week, round 4 for Tier 1, Suzuka in Japan.
Yeah, it's like the earliest we've ever had Suzuka in RPL F1 history for this league. So it's nice to see that it's quite early, and we'll have to see how the wheel drivers do there, as that seems to suit them for that circuit. Final thoughts on today's race?
It is the
Good.
earliest.
Yeah. All right, Leo Lund saying he needs to meet some friends now. I just want to. All right. I'll tell him. Sounds good. Yeah, just gonna say. Instead, we'll give our final thoughts on today's race. I just want to say, props to Gecko. Well deserved with P2, best finish of the season. He's gonna break that winless drought of almost 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is, without a F1 win, and also probably second best race of the season, second best race of the game cycle so far for sure. I think there was some questionable antics, not as bad as yesterday in Tier 2 at times, but it was quite fun. It was quite good. Maybe a bit annoying with some people, with each other, with the way they race, but all honesty, I enjoyed it. A lot of action, a lot of changes for the race lead, and definitely, probably one of our best Australian Grand Prix we've had.
I completely agree with you.
Any final thoughts from you besides that?
I don't have any at this time, but yeah, we got, I mean, a lot of great racing from everybody. We've seen a lot of lead changes. We've seen a lot of fighting all over the pack. As she said, one of the best Australian Grand Prix. I do not disagree with you on that. I've commentated quite a few Australian Grand Prix, and it's been quite this season. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Even though we're already 3 races in, I think season 11 we're looking possibly, and I'm going big when I say this, but I think season 11 we're probably looking at one of the probably the greatest season in Tier 1 history for RPL.
One last thought. This race or Jeddah, which one was better? I'd still give Jeddah a slight edge. I mean, even though it didn't have the immense battles for the lead, it just had the chaos. And I don't know. We'll have to find out come the stewards room which one I would rank higher, because I feel like Jeddah was quite dirty, if I'm being honest, but still chaotic and fun to commentate and good racing. And today was a little bit of the same, but I don't know if it was as much. You know, it's tough to tell. It's tough.
I would say they're just about equal to each other.
Yeah, that's fair, to be honest. Well, I see a lot of people clicking off stream as it's time to end it. Last time in June. Next up is our July month of racing. Check out our YouTube channel and our other socials. RPL Formula 1 will have lots of content and lots of things to talk about as well throughout the week as well, whether it be from this event or just in general for RPL. Lots happening. Stay tuned. Next week, we resume racing. Tier 3 in Britain will start off the weekend, but for F1, we're in Japan, and we'll have to see you then for our next time. Ryan Searles, RPL Titan Iron, signing off. Circle, circle, circle.